What is going on, guys? It is your boy Dashy, back with another video about Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. This time it's going to be about a little tip involving the super engine that I thought was relatively well known, but I haven't really seen many players using it in the way that I'm going to be talking about, so I'm going to be trying to shed some light on it. So first of all, let's get into the basics. The super engine is an item that you can get in battle mode and in online races. What it normally does, not including the exploit, is that when you hold the accelerator with the unjuiced version, it'll constantly give you the 1x mini turbo boost speed the entire time that you're accelerating, and then with the juiced version it'll give you the slowest blue fire available the entire time that you're accelerating. But the cool part about the super engine is actually, and this is pretty well known, but I'm going to cover it anyways, as long as you already have the fire level that the super engine can give you, you can mash the accelerator button, and every time you do, it'll give you more reserves. So this means, for instance, if you have just sacred fire or yellow fire that you would get from 3x mini turbos, and you get an unjuiced super engine, you can mash X and get infinite reserves. We use this for infinite reserves, as we call it. However, it's not technically infinite, but it's such a high amount that it can basically last you the entirety of a 5 or 7 lap race. And of course, with the juiced version of it, you can only use it when you have blue fire already to mash X and gain reserves that way. The annoying part comes into play when you are on a track that does not have blue fire, but you have 10 Wumpa and you roll a super engine, and let's say you already have, sacred fire or something. So what happens when you use the super engine then, if you were to press the accelerator, it'll give you blue fire for like half a second or whatever, but it won't give you reserves. And it also will stop you from gaining reserves through things like hang time turbos and mini turbos. So option number 1 is that you use the item and then you hold the accelerator the whole time until, of course, the super engine runs out, upon which you will go back down to no fire even if you had sacred fire beforehand. To counteract this, you can try to time up your usage of the item so that it'll run out at the same time as you either cross the finish line or you're within range of a turbo pad to get back your sacred fire. Otherwise, it's going to net you probably a little bit of a time loss because you'll end up spending the rest of the time without having fire at all. Option number 2 that you'll see most players opt for is that they'll use the item and they will let off of the accelerator completely. This means that they won't get the burst of speed, of course, and get up to blue fire at all. However, they won't lose their sacred fire. They'll just use the item and then continue power sliding and doing mini turbos and hang time boosts as normal. This means that you don't end up losing your fire, obviously. However, you basically pulled an item that did literally nothing for you. But what I'm making this video for is actually for a third option that kind of needs a little bit of setup, but basically it'll let you actually use the super engine juiced up and have the blue fire from it without losing the sacred fire that you had beforehand. So I'm going to be showing this example in battle mode actually, just because it was a little bit easier to set up and actually get the item rolls in the order that I needed it, but you can of course still actually do these in regular races. So step 1, which is something that I'm sure pretty much everybody watching this video already knows, is that you get a regular super engine unjuiced, and you can start using it as soon as you get at least 2 mini turbos in a row on a power slide. Every time that you hit the accelerator from then, you gain reserves. Now from there, as long as you are gaining fire levels naturally, be it, you then start to do a triple power slide where you gain yellow fire, or if you hit a boost pad or get a turbo canister that is juiced up, you will actually still have all of those reserves that you gained. So of course, like I'll show here, you can get a juiced up turbo canister and use it. You'll get up to sacred fire and you'll still have all the reserves. But here's something that I've seen that people don't actually do. So if you actually already have infinite reserves, you can use a juiced up super engine just normally and just hold the accelerator the whole time, and then once it's done, you'll just drop down to whatever fire level you had before the time that you used it. This works because when you use a juiced up super engine on a track that doesn't have blue fire, all that's happening is that it stops you from gaining reserves while constantly ticking your reserves down. So if you already have enough reserves to last you the full duration of the super engine, you'll be fine. And I'll be showing examples of that here. Again, even if you didn't have Sacred Fire, you can actually do this on, for instance, Slide Coliseum, which has no turbo pads at all. If you get a super engine that just holds your yellow fire with infinite reserves, you'll drop back down to yellow fire at the end of the super engine. Or if, for instance, you were to gain a turbo canister and get it juiced up, and you have Sacred Fire, but you still also have infinite reserves, you can again use the super engine juiced up and have the blue fire for that whole duration, and you'll actually just go back down to Sacred Fire, which you had beforehand. I think that about covers it. I don't think there's anything else that really needs to be described for this. I think I covered pretty much everything that you would need to know. Again, I know the majority of this stuff is actually pretty well known already, obviously, that you can gain reserves from the super engine. That should be pretty common knowledge, but a lot of people don't actually know that you can actually use the juiced up super engine if you have enough reserves to last the full duration of the super engine. So hopefully that'll help you out. I know there's not really that many people that still play online, but I figured there's some people that might actually get some use out of this information. Hopefully you guys did. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.